Great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
What are you drinking here?
Oh, see, I am actually drinking my favorite drink. It's called Sazerac. It's Sazerac rye, and it is just my favorite rye that I've ever tasted. So only the
Love
best for the
that.
best. There you
I
go.
mixed my whiskey with some coffee liqueur
Ooh,
because I've still got lots of work to do here. So I'll be caffeinated and sipping on whiskey.
that's right. Because you need this energy because you're on the West Coast. I'm ending the day. This is
Yeah.
this is my chill out.
I'm honestly still right in the middle of the day. So,
Literally,
but
yes,
I can't help but have a drink with you. So this is
yes.
great.
I'm glad I bring that out in people.
I know. So fun. Um, well, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. You
Thank
are
you.
obviously one of my favorite leaders in the industry, and I love hearing your story around starting Sales Boomerang. And you have been also a huge inspiration for me in growing cultural outreach and now where I am at experience.com. So, my first question for you is what is one pivotal moment when you were starting Sales Boomerang?
Before we started or as we started? Like what brought
Like,
me
what
to
made
starting
you,
it?
yeah, what made you decide to
To
start
start it.
Sales
Okay.
Boomerang? Yeah.
Yeah, I love this question. I love really talking about this. So, you know this about me because we talk a lot, but maybe not everyone does. So, I have been starting businesses since I've been 20. And little by little, I was really chasing something. And when I sold my last technology company, my shares in my last technology company to my partner, it was 2014, and I just started a family, had my first child. And one of the things I wanted to do was be there for my kids as they grow up. Like I wanted to see them take their first steps and say their first words, and then be be part of that experience that so many entrepreneurs, so many CEOs miss out on because of travel and business and all this good stuff. So I didn't want to miss out on that. And so I decided to build a consulting practice. And in that consulting practice, I found myself consulting for a company called Rain King. Now, Rain King is a business intelligence company that would make a connection between Fortune 500 companies that were looking for this niche solution and the niche solution that existed. But most Fortune 500 companies just put out RFPs and hopefully somebody comes up that they really are looking for. Ranking specialized in going, oh, you need this niche technology. We know the vetted, we vetted them already. They have what you want. Let us introduce you at the exact moment before the RFP goes out, the exact moment you need them. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And they had gone on to sell to Zoom Info for like, after 10 months of helping them, they sold for like a little over $100 million. So I had this experience, right? And at the exact same time, a buddy of mine that was going to invest in my first company, one of my companies, and I had helped him with a bunch of marketing with my marketing company. Ken owns still owns a mortgage marketing company called Monster Lead Group, now changed to Monster Technologies. And he had asked me to come consult for them. Now I just am finishing up this relationship with Rain King, and I'm seeing this magic. How do they know that this Fortune 500 company is even looking for this niche technology? And how do they know where this niche technology is? It's incredible. So here I am coming into to Monster League Group, and they're talking about helping them with getting more customers to use their service. And one of the things they showed me is that out of every marketing piece they send out and every call that they generate for lenders, about 10% of them turn into deals. And I was like, what? Like, hold on a minute. Why are we celebrating 10%? That's kind of strange. That seems low coming from a technology background. That's low, right? You're
Mhm.
usually seeing 30, 40% just up front. And then there's a long tail after that that's much higher. And so, what was the pivotal moment is when I asked Ken, what do you do with the 90% of people that didn't convert into a loan? And he said, oh, no, no, no. The lender will buy that lead again. I was like, what? They bought it once and they'll have to buy it again? Why don't we just tell them when to contact these customers? And that was the pivotal moment where he's like, that sounds great. That's not what we do here. It's over my head, but sounds like a great idea. And so that was the moment. And really it was sort of the years and years of building businesses where you look for businesses that there is no leader in, there's a big potential customer base, and there's a clear value add into this gap. And so that I checked all those boxes, and at that moment when Ken said no, they have to buy the lead, that was the pivotal moment that said, "Ooh, there's something there." And you know what I did, Kristin? I didn't know how big the industry was. I was like, I wonder how big the mortgage industry is. and then I'm like, what? It's the biggest in the country and the world. It was fantastic. So that was the moment right there. That was like time to start something new.
Yeah, you are so, I mean, your heart and whole existence just like exudes entrepreneurial spirit. And I think it's so contagious. And I've learned so much from you in that area. So there's, I mean, you have this whole no borrower left behind. And, a lot of that has become also very known in the industry. Can you describe maybe the moment that came about and describe what that is so that we better understand your message?
Yeah. So this is interesting because when we started developing this, it was very funny because I'm still consulting for Monster, and we're starting to develop this product. And I remember 9 to 5, I'm helping Monster. 5 to 9, I'm calling West Coast people to see if they want to see this new product. Right. So I'm doing this 12-hour shift of doing different things, and what I learned very quickly is that the lending industry has a tough time trusting new things. Okay, they do. And so one of the first things we did, and this is not exactly about no borrower left behind, but this is going to be helpful in telling the full story, is I started to make sure to mention to people that we aren't a new solution. We're just an evolution of an existing process, right? So we're not revolutionary, we're evolutionary. That made people start to listen to me more. Like, oh, no, 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 I'm not trying anything new. I'm like, no, no, it's nothing new. It's what you're already doing. We're just going to automate it for you, right? Like, oh, and then they started to listen differently. And so the thing that I realized first is when we ran this analysis, Kristin, that we wanted to find out what happens with a database that you've turned down. Okay. And so remember, first we got their trust in the sense that, hey, nothing new, just trust us to kind of take a look at your process, just make some adjustments, and said, okay. And so they would give us their turned down databases. They're like, here's my turned down database. And we would analyze it manually at the time with our credit bureau partners, but manually at the time, and go, oh, well, you have 5,000 customers. I don't know if you know this, but in the last 12 months, 800 of them went and took a loan. And that total number equaled 80 million, $100 million, whatever it is. And so we would show them what they were losing. And I kept thinking about, like, what is really happening here? Like, why is it that no one is paying attention to their database of customers that did not qualify or were not able to get funding? Why is that like being thrown away when it's so active? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how come this industry only wants to move forward? They're not looking around. They don't have a rear view mirror. They're just full speed ahead. And so, and I'm imagining I can be this detailed on this call with you, Kristin, because here we are drinking. So literally, Kristin, you know this about me. I went into this creative state and I said, I'm going to come up with a message that is so clear that a few words will explain why we exist, right? The few words that now exist on my t-shirt. And what I did is I had a little creative session. I swear to God, this is the truth. You want the truth, Kristin? You're getting the truth. Like nobody, you're getting an exclusive right here. I did that and I went for a walk. And I remember just running ideas down. I'm like, people are just forgetting about their customers. They're not paying attention to them. They're leaving them behind. And just like that, I was like, oh my gosh, no borrower left behind. That's it. And I remember sprinting to my house, because I needed to write it down. Otherwise it was going to go away. I remember sprinting back into my house and writing this down. And what I do with ideas like that is I write them down and I put them away. And then if I can't stop thinking about it, I come back to it and go, okay. And I literally dreamt about it that evening. And I was like, that's it. It's not even a slogan. It's a mission, because people, the minute they're not in front of them, they leave them behind. And it's like, no, like the people that couldn't qualify, you should embrace more than the people that do qualify, because they need you more. Yeah. And that's where no borrower left behind came from, is that every customer is important.
It's so good. I love the context for the story, because also the point of the story is that a lot of times in this industry, we are very focused on what right in front of us, but not thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about the future and how to, prepare for those types of things. But I think you also stepped out. And I think that's really hard for a lot of leaders of all types to step out of the present moment to take a look at the big picture and expand yourself and take a breath, and
Yes.
so that's beautiful.
It's a crazy thing because even your database, it's like people were leaving not just their turndowns behind, they were leaving their prospects behind, their pipeline, their customers behind, because they were just focused on sending spam like messages. I'll just be fair. Spam like messages and say, okay, hopefully I caught you at the exact moment that this message hits where it hurts, and then maybe you'll respond. And it's like, that's actually leaving your most important customers behind too. You're leaving them behind. You're asking them to come to call you when they think it's right. But let me tell you something, us consumers, and I'm one of them, I don't know a lot about my mortgage. I didn't at the time. I didn't know what's good with equity, when I should do something. Should I refi? Should I not? Should I be looking at investment? I had no clue. And so I was being left behind constantly. And that's it. It just resonated. The minute that message came, it was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is the message for the industry, not for Sales Boomerang. This is the industry's message now. And that's, so yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I think, my message is often, and I guess always, about consumer empowerment, and like, how do we make the consumer at the center of the transaction? And that's also what we're expecting at this point. And you're able to create that kind of personalized experience. Like, if we're getting some random message about our mortgage that doesn't resonate, then it's useless. But whenever we are actually understood and companies are listening to us and then responding, that's a game-changing experience. And it's also kind of an expectation at this point in the rest of the world, so yeah.
It is. Great point.
So,
love that.
What's a time that you had to pivot as a company?
It actually is probably the most brilliant thing that could have happened to Sales Boomerang. So nobody knows this because it happened in 2017. But when we started, our entire mission was to work with loan officers directly, branches and loan officers. That's all we wanted to do. It's help each individual. And so we started partnering with the bureaus. We started partnering with some other data companies, and we started to learn these things about borrowers because we wanted to provide this intelligence, and we were just as fast and easy as possible, frictionless, right? No login required, all this good stuff, right? And at one point, and I'll remember the date, I'll tell you right now, June of 2017, we got a call from our bureau partners, and they literally tripled the cost of what we originally agreed on. Tripled. They're like, your new price starts July 1st. What? What do you mean it starts? That means we had maybe 6 or 7 people using our system then. That means we're losing money on all of them because we weren't making any money on the deals anyway. We're like, we just want you to use it and give us feedback. And then they're like, yep, we're going to charge you triple now. And then it went up again, but triple. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we had to pivot from loan officer branches to enterprise. And that, now I look back and I'm so grateful that happened, because we're able to help all of those loan officers. Instead of just 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 or 100 out of 1,000, we're able to help all of them because now it's top down. This is because of the results and because of the value. This is typically a top down solution, and that was one of the scariest, but now one of the most valuable moments, because we didn't run away. We just went, all right, time to change our marketing. That's all. Time to change our marketing and who we're talking to.
Yeah.
And that was a huge pivot.
And that's so much more efficient too. And so, I mean, I'm sure that, as it is in all parts of life, like when you lean into it and you decide, okay, I'm going to move forward and figure out how to pivot, that's when really beautiful things happen. So that's great.
It did. That's exactly what I got to tell you though. My partners who were at the time just advising, they weren't in the company day to day with me. And when I told them what's happening, like they were like, oh, like, are you serious? And it's like, hey, I said, I bet we can pivot quickly. And it was so funny because we not only did we pivot quickly, but I tested a message within like 3 days of getting that. And I got a bigger lender to respond and go, I'm interested. I'm like, oh guys, we're fine. we're fine. I said, I just tested something. I was like, we didn't even go out with a full. I said, we're going to be all right, and it did. We signed an
Yeah,
enterprise account in July, and so it was fantastic, but
that's
it was
amazing.
scary too.
When did you start the company again?
So we launched on Valentine's Day of 2017 with the
Oh,
message,
wow. Okay.
the mortgage industry will fall in love. That was our message.
Wow.
Valentine's Day
Did
launch.
you?
Yeah.
That's so cute. Did you know the mortgage industry before you got into it?
No, not at all.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Zero.
That's so crazy because you're like such a, prominent speaker and, the industry well now, but I guess
Yeah.
that's just, what you do. I didn't know the industry before I started a business in it either.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's what's interesting is that I just fell in love so quickly. That's
I
the thing.
know. Yeah.
I just fell head
It's
over heels,
a
and it's funny because
gem.
people warn me of this. They're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
once you get in the mortgage industry, you never get out." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know about that. We'll find out." But it's true. I'm like, I'm
I
head over heels with it.
know. It's so funny. I keep trying to think like, okay, how can I expand outside of that? Even when I came to experience.com, I was thinking, okay, I'll grow a mortgage team and financial services, but then also maybe other things, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
I'm like, I really enjoy like knowing the intricacies of the industry and how impactful it is, And so it's just
you're like,
you have to know things to really be impactful in it. So
that's a fact. That's a fact. It's like,
yeah.
hey, listen, Scott, she only wants to focus on mortgage.
Yeah.
You got so
Yeah,
many
no.
talents, though. He's gonna want you everywhere. But okay, you stay focused here.
I'm enjoying this industry. But so one question I ask everyone is what is one way that you are challenging the status quo?
Well, I mean, listen, I think for us, I don't know about anybody else that you've spoken to, but for us, it's a very easy thing to talk about because the status quo seems to be 15% retention, right?
Mhm.
And we see that as a complete failure of an industry. When we lose to auto insurance, uh, there's I have a whole list of industries that do better than us in retention that shouldn't be doing better than us. The status quo is 12-15% and you're doing okay. And for us, that's not the case. We double that for our clients in 6 months, right? Like you want to go from 12 to 24% retention, we can do that for you, right? Like that's going to
Yeah.
happen pretty fast. Um, and so that's the way we challenge the status quo is we say, look, because understand that, and this is key, okay? Retention is a clear sign of the health of your business. If you
Yeah.
can't keep or get repeat customers, what does that say about you and your business? Right? And in this industry, and this is a trend, we're about to see this happen a lot. The mortgage industry claims to be an advisory role,
Yep.
advisors, consultants. But to date, they've been really good at sales, really good. Mortgage companies stand up amazing sales teams. They train them very well. This is a product that people are dying to get, right? Everybody wants a home. So it's kind of a thing that we all want anyway. And so we know if we can come up with really good salesmanship, we can be really good at what we do. But we are noticing now, and thank goodness we're seeing these companies go public because these public companies have shown us something. They're showing us that it's not about sales, it's about building a business, a real brand. And in those brands, you'll notice in their S1 filings, they talk about their retention. And every one of them have been near 70%. That's a key indicator of a successful and healthy business. When you're retaining at 12%, it just says people aren't buying you, they're buying a price, and next time they're not going to buy from you. And so, what this industry is moving towards, and this is important to understand, is that you want to be building a business, not a sales team, right? You can't depend on just your sales team to help you build your business. You build your business and build a sales team around your business,
Mm-hmm.
not a business around your salespeople. Hear that. You build a sales team around your business, not your business around your salespeople. That is a very different approach. But the most successful companies in this industry are doing exactly that. They're not allowing their salespeople to dictate what happens tomorrow. They're saying to their salespeople, here's our vision for tomorrow. Do you see yourself there? Right.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's just an important part of the industry where we are today in general. But you know, that is the thing that's the status quo that we impact the most is the retention rates, and the retention rates are a key indicator of how healthy your business is.
Yeah, so true. And I think, I mean, we talk a lot about being an advisor, and this is something that, you know, we've talked a lot about with Mortgage Coach. And I think that while we say we want to be a trusted advisor, or a lot of people in mortgage say that, it's not, you can't think about it just in the transaction. That's what I love about your message, is you think you're talking a lot bigger in terms of, you know, it's not just for the quick sale, and consumers that see you do a quick sale and then bow out. That's just, I don't know, it feels like you're not treating the consumer with the kind of long-term relationship that is promised, you know. And I think especially for skeptical consumers, where millennials are extremely skeptical, and consumers in general are approaching, especially home buying, with so much skepticism, you have to be seen as someone that, like, you know, I was talking to Dave Savage this morning about this, of like, if someone comes to you and says that they're not ready to buy a home, if you tell them, or you go through a rent versus own, realize they're not ready to own right now, and you tell them, hey, this isn't actually a good time for you, you're going to be seen as so much of a better partner long term. They're going to refer a ton of business to you, all kinds of stuff. So I think
100%.
having that kind of relationship where you close the deal and you say, I'm still here, let's check in on your mortgage later, or whatever, or you can follow up at specific times that make sense to reach out to them. That's a true partner that I can trust long term, and I'm going to refer all the business I can to you, you know. So
yeah, that is, I mean, and that's why I was actually going to mention Dave and Mortgage Coach, because I love their message. We were at the 7A Group Summit, right, just recently, and it's, nobody knows what that means. That's by design, by the way, by design. Inquire if you're interested. It's a very special, exclusive group. And in there, I love Joe, what he said, and this is the message for all of Mortgage Coach: advice over price. Advice over price. If you're going to compete on price, just be ready to lose your customers, right? Yep. If that's the only thing. And by the way, hey, for everyone listening, if you are selling price, fine. Like, if that's your business model, fantastic. Then retention may not be the most important thing for you, right? You're not looking at customer loyalty, and you're not looking to build a brand. You're just like, look, I'm going to be razor thin on my margins. I don't care if you ever come back to me. All I care about is this deal. Then it's okay. Then probably people like experience.com, Mortgage Coach, Sales Boomerang, we're not your partners. But if you're looking to build a business, a brand, and be profitable, not razor thin profits, but be a healthy, profitable company that grows for the next 20, 30 years and beyond, and you're building a legacy for your team and your own family, then there's no other way to look at your business. There's no other way. Advice is key. It's key.
Absolutely. And that's why we partner with, I mean, I want to just pull together as many technology partners as we can that are thinking about that, you know, and focus on empowering loan officers and lenders to be that kind of true holistic support. So,
I mean, one more thought on that. And I know you have another question coming up, but it's, you know, what you're saying is this, and I love looking at this way. Now I talk about it a lot. We are Lego pieces inside a Lego set. Experience.com, Sales Boomerang. We fit together. Yeah. We have the same mindset. We believe in the same things. We just cover different parts of the industry that support each other. Totally. And that's what you want to look for in a tech stack. If it doesn't fit my Lego set, I'm sorry, just like, you got to pass. Find the pieces that fit together and complement each other, because if they don't, you're going to have silos, and then those silos that are furthest away from your core message won't be used. And you're like, why did I spend $100,000 in this technology and no one's using it? That's because it doesn't fit your core stack. So just throwing that out there.
Completely. I mean, yeah, kind of side note. I've been trying more to filter all of my decisions and things through like my values, when I've, you know, written out all my core values, all that kind of stuff. And it's similar when you think like, okay, this is a really cool thing, but it doesn't actually align with where I want to go and what my values are, whatever. You got to know what your core tech stack is and what your vision is for your company, what is going to empower your company to achieve that mission, those values, and fit in with that tech stack. And so I love that approach for sure. Yeah.
Well said. I like that. I'm going to start doing that too. That's good.
Yeah. So we're kind of getting into this. My last question for you is, what is your vision for the future of technology, and like how, you know, where the mortgage space specifically is going with technology?
Yeah, this is a big question, and I'm sure you're going to get lots of different answers as you have these conversations. I I always want to put myself in the shoes of the consumer when I answer this question. Like, what would I want? How would I want to buy a house? How would I want my mortgage experience to be? And I want it to be effortless. Just to
Hmm.
be clear, I want it to be effortless. I want to be able to almost schedule my next transaction, right? Schedule the next best loan for me. Um, I want to be able to get all of my paperwork done with ease because you already have it on file somewhere and I'm verifying rather than delivering, right? Yes, that's the same. Yes, that's the same. Yes, that's the same, right? Great. Like I want to be able to get through the loan application process in moments, not months, right? And that to me, I also want to be able to buy a house like I buy a gallon of milk, right? I want to be approved for a home, and I want to be able to walk through that house with or without a realtor and go, yeah, this is my house. Here's my little, mortgage approved credit card, and there's something in the house that or I use my phone and I say, hey, just like, Apple Pay, and I go, this is the house I want. Boop, here's my offer. And I walk out, right? Like I want to buy a house like I buy a gallon of milk. I want that to happen. I don't want to have to go through the process. Like if you've approved me for $500,000 and this house is 430,000, just let me make my offer right there. Boop, right in the house while I'm walking through it. I'm in. 430, I think it's worth 450. That's my offer. I'm out. Right?
Yep.
And if I win the house, I win the house. But I want it to be that smooth. So, where's the future? The future to me is about making the transaction so easy and predictable for me. Like if I already have a house and I'm talking about a refinance potentially or a cash out or whatever I'm doing, I want to know in advance when that event is coming. I don't want to have to call my lender and go, listen, I need a little cash. Do I have enough to do it now? I don't ever want to do that. I want my lender to notify me that I can and what it is, how much I can take out, when is the best time to do it. Looks like the rates are going to be at their best levels in the next 3 months. So let's wait. You have plenty of cash. You have $38,500 in tappable equity right now. But wait, because you're going to pay a little bit more if you do it now. Let's just wait. I want them to just tell me. I want to tell my goals to my lender and then never have to worry about it again. That's it. That's where I want to see the future of this industry go.
So good. That's exactly, back to the customer centric experience. I think so many times we think of, or a lot of lenders think, how do I reach out to the consumer? But it's all about how does the consumer want to be reached out to, and we got to think about it in the opposite way of, we like, as a consumer, I want to think about ease of use the entire time.
Yes.
What's the easiest way? And even for experience.com, speaking of Lego pieces, like we want to feed these reviews to the places the consumer already is, like not making them have to Google search for those reviews, feeding them within a mortgage coach integration or feeding them within Lending Tree, wherever they are, so that they can see that. And I think that we have to think about all of that. How can we play together and feed things in a way that the consumers reached out to at the right time? And so love what you're doing to contribute to that. And I think that it's such an important part of our growth. So thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me, Alex.
I love this I love what you're doing. I hope I want everyone to have this call with you and have this conversation, because pivotal moments are the real difference in businesses. And I love that you're doing that.
I honestly just started doing it because it's interesting. It's like, right. I'm curious. I love hearing those pivotal moments. And so, but I also think it shares important messages. And so thanks for contributing and joining me today.
You're the best. Anytime.
Cheers.
Cheers.